Bravo μου.
Hello. There was a technical
happened?
problem and we are late for 5 minutes. Ragazzi,
And we could hear Sebi saying, please one moment,
please one moment.
please one moment, please one moment.
By the way, these 5 minutes are great because I just entered home. I landed at 7:25 and I just got home, like in 40 minutes.
Bravo.
Look at Konstantinos with a gravata, with a tie. Come
So
on.
elegant, so elegant.
It's so funny because 2 hours ago we were with Emilio. So it's like, hi, Emilio.
Allora, ragazzi, how was your week? Good?
Yes. Good. We had also a congress here in Thessaloniki. That's why Konstantinos was here. Nice. Everything was fine.
Yeah, perfetto.
What a really good time. And you, Jeppy?
Very good. Perfect. I'm recovered well with a voice loss, complete loss of my voice
Yeah.
of the last few days.
Really?
Allora, as usually, lots of people from everywhere. Romania, Toronto, Canada, New York, Venezia, Uzbekistan, Brescia, Argentina, Russia, Ukraine, Germany, UK, Spain, Romania, France, Italy, of course, Bulgaria, Austria, Australia, Netherlands, Wales,
Hey.
Norway, Nigeria, Turkey, Riga, New Zealand, Melbourne, Costa Rica,
Wow.
Brazil, Jerusalem, Hungary. Wonderful. So today we're going to speak about shiny white structures.
Do you like shiny white structures?
Well, can I tell you something? At the very beginning, it was a little bit antipathic, something
Yes.
that I didn't like too much.
Yes.
But
True. I
now
know.
I'm more,
Hmm.
I'm more prone to like it, to love it. Yeah. So do you think it's a clue for malignancy? Yes, no, sometimes.
But I can recall, let me say something. Let me
Yeah.
expose you a little bit. I can recall quite recently, I have to say, it was not 15 years ago. It was like 3, 4 years ago that we were, I think, in the excellence, probably.
Yeah.
And you were also a little bit tired, because these long days, like 8 hours and so on. And you had to speak in the last lecture about the white shiny structures. And basically, you didn't want to speak too much, and you said to the people that, come on, it's a stupid thing. It's only useful for the differential diagnosis of non-pigmented malignancy from dermal nevi. That's it.
Yeah. No, but I can recall my negative statements. So let's see how things are going today. Okay,
Sometimes.
sometimes winner. Very few say no. This is
No.
extremely.
So you belong to this 4%, Johnny.
Yeah. Very good. I will show you why. Okay, but let's have Nisa. Are you starting or Costantino?
I think Konstantinos should start.
Costantino
Yeah.
starts. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I personally love shiny white structures. I think they're quite useful in a variety of circumstances, as long as you know, as you learn to identify them in the common occurrences that they can be without implying malignancies, such as dermatofibromas, as Nisa will show. So the first extensive report of shiny white structures was this paper by Ash, Margub, and Alkopf, where they described that collagen fibers, collagen bundles have birefringent, I love this word, birefringent properties that cause a rapid randomization of polarized light, explaining why collagen is more conspicuous under polarized dermoscopy. And here they actually showed cases where polarized light allows for the visualization of shiny white structures. I think that all of our audience, because our audience is experts in essence, know that we can only see shiny white lights with shiny white lines under polarized light, whereas in non-polarized light they're not visible. Why? Because it corresponds, as we will show moving on a dermis occurrence. So it's collagen bundles being rearranged in the dermis. So when we find them in melanoma, it's a sign of invasion. We can find it in several basal cell carcinomas. We can find it in spitz nevi that also have a compound component. And here we can see the examples that Ash Margub provided for this first paper, where we can see them in basal cell carcinomas, in melanomas, in spitz nevi. And what is this figure 4? I don't remember. Oh, this is melanoma. What is the first one? Scar.
Yeah.
Scar. Excellent. Then, before we get to this one, it's this paper by Tracy Liebman, a really nice paper, where they examined in which cases, in 2012, in which cases shiny white structures can be found. And what they actually show is that they are found where
because my eye caught something. Go up at the introduction of the paper. Because I wanted to comment that in the second paper, the chrysalis has already been abandoned as a term. And there, if you see the text, it mentions the name of Harald Kickler, who probably
Yeah. Which is white, which is what?
that he
Subsequent
criticized the term.
Yeah.
So Dr. James Gritznick, who studied entomology, and Dr. Harold Kittler subsequently noted that the term chrysalis actually refers to the pupae of the butterfly and not that of a moth. The moth has a cocoon, and the butterfly has a chrysalis. I love it. So,
interesting.
In this follow-up paper, they noticed that shiny white structures can be present in several diagnoses, predominantly in basal cell carcinomas, in invasive melanomas, LPLKs, squamous cell carcinoma as well. But what they noticed is that in melanoma, they usually present in an orthogonal way, which was also a nice clue that helped us moving forward in our diagnosis. And then it was Christian Navarrete, our dear friend, that did a really nice paper on basal cell carcinomas, where they identified that the presence of shiny white blots and strands. So shiny white lines indicate the streaks, so the short parallel lines depicted with polarized dermoscopy. Whereas in basal cell carcinoma, they're not so well defined. You can see them in blotches, so occupying a larger area, and strands. So lines that are a bit more distant and more bulbous. And accordingly, they studied the presence of shiny white structures in basal cell carcinomas. And interestingly, they described that there are superficial, especially basal cell carcinomas, on the lower legs, could appear only with small ulcerations and shiny white blots and strands. And this was the paper that actually put in mind that superficial basal cell carcinoma can only present with these two features, and when you see them, it's quite indicative for a basal cell carcinoma. And to finish my presentation, I want to point at this paper, which is a beautiful paper. This is probably one of my favorite papers that I've contributed by Oriol Yelamos and Asmer Group. That actually we wrote this JAD continued CME things, and it has all the correlations of dermoscopic features to dermatopathological features to histology, and this is very helpful because in essence what dermoscopy does is it functions as the bridge between the clinical image and dermoscopy. And here we can see, let me just find it. So the shiny white structures correspond to altered dermal collagen resulting from stromal alterations, as we already know. And let me just find the figure because it's really nice. Well, I don't have it here. Oh, it's the paper by Teresa Russo, the other beautiful paper, which I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give me just 1 second to bring it up.
So based on the papers you showed, the king of white shiny structures is definitely ash.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, definitely. Ash has done a lot of nice work with shiny white structures. He was the first to focus on them, and it made a lot of sense.
But you know what? I am not so convinced that the histopathologic correlation is always collagen alterations. For instance, you showed, and I agree, superficial BCCs with white shiny strands. I'm not sure if this corresponds to fibrosis dermis superficial BCC, and in other occasions also.
Yeah, I think that it has to do with scarring. So it has to do a little bit with collagen. Just to finish, I want to bring to the audience attention this also beautiful paper by Teresa Russo and who else? Giuseppe Argentiano, which studies the correlation of dermoscopic features in histology in melanoma, in melanocytic lesions. Very nice paper, and also keep it in mind. So yes, I agree, Emilius. Not necessarily collagen bundles, but for sure, I think there's something going on a little bit underneath the junction. I don't know. I know that superficial basal cells are in the junction exactly, but probably well, not probably, we know that they form, like, due to the traction effect, they form a rearrangement in the collagen bundles of the dermis.
Yeah. Yeah, there is an alternative theory. I will show you in a moment, but let's see first what else we have to show, because according to what you said, white shiny structures are definitely associated with malignant tumors. They are present in melanoma. You showed that they are present in BCC. You mentioned that they might also be present in squamous cell. So can we say that they are definitely a clue for malignancy, Nisa?
Yeah, for sure it's not, because we know that there are many benign conditions presenting with white lines, and I'm going to show you a very good paper that was very recently published by our dear Emilios. And this is the paper. It's published in Clinical and Experimental Dermatology in October. Sorry, I can.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yeah, okay. Yep. According to the paper, bright white structures are, sorry, I can go back, visible with polarized light, not non-polarized light, and they generally correspond to stromal alterations like hyaline, fibrous bands, or fibroplasia, and they are generally associated with malignancies like melanoma, basal cell carcinoma, and actinic keratosis. And the objective of this study was to investigate the frequency and distribution and morphology of shiny white structures in benign skin tumors. And the study was designed in northern Greece, and the data were collected from January 2010 to 2022.
Nisa, sorry. If you are
Yeah.
changing slides, be aware that we just see still only the first slide.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe you stop share and you share again.
Yeah. Thank you, Emilios.
Share your entire screen, Manisa.
Is it okay?
Yeah, put it also in the presentation mode.
Yeah, can you see this screen right now?
Should be okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay. And the total study sample included 2,420 benign tumors, and only 15% of these benign tumors exhibited shiny white structures, and the high frequencies were observed in pyogenic granuloma, angioma, and adnexal tumors. And in common nevi and solar lentigo, almost zero white shiny structures were observed in the study population. And here you can see the benign lesions that were included to the study, and angioma, pyogenic granuloma were the most common benign lesions that exhibited white shiny structures. And here you can see the frequencies of shiny white structures. And the study were classified according to these shiny white structures were solitary or multiple, focal or diffuse, irregular, round or oval, or linear. And at the end of the study, the authors saw that the white shiny structures were multiple and diffuse distribution in most benign tumors. And the presence of shiny white structures was not associated with age, sex, or anatomical location. And for example, in hemangiomas, the white shiny structures were observed in a linear and mostly multiple and diffuse arrangement. In pyogenic granuloma, generally white blotches were observed, and then linear shiny white structures were coming. And in common nevi, the white lines were observed most commonly as a white, shiny white structure. And in spitz nevus, the shiny white structures were predominantly round or oval, and this was completely different from the other melanostic lesions. And in blue nevus, the shiny white structures were mainly diffuse and irregular. And in seborrheic keratosis, all types of shiny white structures were observed, and they were focal in just almost 40% of the lesions. And we all know dermatofibromas very well, and the shiny white structures were mainly linear in dermatofibromas. And in benign adnexal tumors, both blotches and round or oval structures were observed most commonly. And here are some examples from the study. In A, we can see a dermal nevus. In B, it's a blue nevus. In C, it's a spitz nevus. And D is a seborrheic keratosis with white shiny structures. Some were homogeneously distributed, some are white lines or blotches, and you can see very nice examples. And here in A, we see an hemangioma. In B, it's a pyogenic granuloma. And C is a dermatofibroma with white lines. And D is a trichoblastoma. The authors at the end of the study concluded that dermatoscopic shiny white structures may also be seen in benign skin tumors as shown, and shiny white structures appear to be frequent in pyogenic granuloma and angioma and adnexal tumors, and they are exceedingly rare in common nevi and solar lentigo. And in benign tumors, they are usually multiple and diffuse, and they shouldn't be considered de facto indicators of malignancy. And I'm going to show you some examples with shiny white lines in benign lesions. And this is a very challenging case. You can see a white orthogonal and parallel lines at the center of the lesion, and the rest there are some thick serpentine branched vessels. And here, this is a non-polarized mode. These shiny white structures disappear in the non-polarized mode, and you can see some thick vessels, clot vessels, and it was wobbling, as you can see here and here. Any guess, my dear friends, for this lesion? Is this a typical hemangioma? I think it's not a typical hemangioma. Yeah, because it was wobbling and we have a lot of vessel polymorphism. So this was a collision of a dermal nevus and a hemangioma.
Yeah.
And here there is a melanostic lesion with eccentric white orthogonal lines and dotted vessels and eccentric round structures area. So we have to excise this because it's a chaotic lesion with white lines, white shiny lines with dotted vessels, but diagnosis was a nevus here. And this is a typical hemosiderotic dermatofibroma with white lines and white clots, some oval and round structures, and the bluish purplish color as a background. And this is another typical dermatofibroma. And here you can see that white shiny lines are visible in polarized mode, and this is non-polarized mode. And we just observe white structures background in the non-polarized mode. This is a very interesting case. There's a pink flat lesion, and here you can see the white lines in the polarized mode and non-polarized mode. They are disappearing. So I would like to take a biopsy here to exclude amelanotic melanoma. And here you can see the polarized and non-polarized mode. And histopathology was just a superficial perivascular and interstitial dermatitis. So this is a completely benign lesion. Here, this is a typical seborrheic keratosis with the clinical image, but you can see some white lines and dotted vessels on the right side of the image. But this was an irritated seborrheic keratosis, nothing else. And here, another seborrheic keratosis with white shiny lines. And this is a non-polarized mode. You can see the white shiny clots, milial axis, on the left side of the lesion. I would just like to mention that on the face, although Emilio's and his group didn't find that shiny white lines are changing according to the localization, I believe that especially when the melanocytic lesions are located on the face and the scalp, they're prone to trauma, and white lines are very common on these dermal nevus. And I would like to show you some examples with white lines on dermal nevus. Again, white lines on the dermal nevus, white lines in the scalp, because they're this combing and trauma prone area again. It's very common. Again, there are some white lines due to the shaving. It was located on the face again. The patient has a severe pruritus on this dermal nevus, and here you can see the white line at the center of the lesion, and this disappear in non-polarized mode. So that's it.
Beautiful cases, Nisa.
Very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. By the way,
just one term. Baslik, Eklemek, Ichin, Tiklayak. Did I say it correctly? Nisa?
Sorry, Konstantinos, I missed that.
Share your screen again.
Yeah, share it. Okay, let's go to screen.
Very difficult Turkish word.
Yeah, very,
Which
very.
one?
Baslik, Eklemek, Ichin, Tiklayin.
It's so much.
Horrible, horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, horrible. Thank you.
But until now, I presume that we can summarize that Costantino is much more in love for shiny white streaks than Nisa. That's definitely true, right? Emilio, what is your opinion? Show us.
I will, but I just wanted to comment first because I think it's a really useful thing. What Nisa said, about scalp nevi, especially scalp nevi. You remember, JP, that this was said that the first person that told us was a participant in a course, and he told us that, look, I see many scalp nevi with white shiny lines, dermal scalp nevi with white shiny lines. And then we said, okay, let's see. And then, in fact, we also confirmed this is the case. In the study, it didn't show up because in the study we included excised lesions, and these scalp dermal nevi, we rarely excise them, but it's true that it's frequent. Therefore, there's no reason to panic if you see on a otherwise typical dermal nevus on the scalp white shiny lines. So that's very, very useful comment.
Yeah.
And by the way, there are also nice questions and comments. One question that we can rapidly take, because my answer is I don't know, is the question if white shiny structures in malignant lesions is correlated with good or bad prognosis. I think that for melanoma, well, maybe there was a study by Susanna that correlated white shiny streaks with not with directly bad prognosis, but with a higher probability for sentinel lymph node positivity, if I'm correct.
Yes,
I
you're
don't-
correct. You're correct. Definitely. Yeah.
And
There was by the way, also another paper from Ash a few years ago, years ago, in which he was stating that probably the presence of regression, the presence of fibrosis, is the key point is necessary for a nodular component starting, a nodular component taking the lead and starting to invade the deep dermis. I don't know why this is, from a pathogenetic point of view, this is possible, but it was a clinical evidence in his view, and why not?
Yeah. And concerning BCC, if we could say if white shiny structures are predictive of something, rather not, although they are, I think, a little bit more frequent in maybe in aggressive subtypes, but it's not a big difference. We also can see them in nodular BCC, we can also see them in superficial BCC, so rather not predictive of something bad. And then there is
If
another.
I can comment.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry. Yeah, but if I can comment on the melanoma side, usually it's a sign of invasion. So as we know, the most important predictive for bad behavior is Breslow thickness. So either it's 0.3 or 0.9, you'll most likely see sunny white lines overlying the invasive component. So by itself, I don't think that's is a predictor of bad prognosis. We know that blue color usually is a predictor for bad prognosis, but this has to do clearly with the depth of invasion. So Breslow thickness is the key here, and I don't think that we should attribute to sunny white lines a higher validity than the one that they have.
Yeah. By the way, since you mentioned it, you know that we have this preliminary data of the study that we all did together for prognosis of melanoma based on dermoscopy features. White shiny structures did not show up to be an important feature, in contrast to blue color, and also in contrast to absence of pigment, which made a lot of sense, but it was never well demonstrated. So absence of pigment and rich vasculature are related with a bad prognosis. So,
really nice. It makes sense, but it's nice to have it.
Yeah, of course. There is another nice comment that will be a bridge for what I want to tell you by Daria, who says that I believe that white shiny structures are divided into two groups. One is correlated histopathologically with dermis, as we said, with fibrosis and so on. The second is correlated to epidermis, therefore to practically hyperplasia of one of the layers of the epidermis, acanthosis or hypergranulosis. And this was precisely what I had prepared to show you. I wanted to show you this nice paper from a group of Spain, Jose, a very nice colleague from Spain, who worked for years on this. I remember when we were discussing before the paper, he had this idea that there are two correlations of white shiny structures. When these structures are thin and we observe them on flat parts of the lesion, then yes, most probably they correlate to fibrosis. But when we observe them in elevated and thick parts, and when they are also a little bit thicker lines, rather strands, then they correlate, as you can see here, not to dermal alterations, but to epidermal hyperplasia practically in some way. And here are just some data from the paper. And in my view, guys, think about it. This makes sense. Why? Because we know what is a blue-white veil. A blue-white veil corresponds to the presence of cells in the dermis and to the reactive orthokeratosis, so to the reactive hyperplasia of the epidermis. That's the correspondence of the white color. And then, so you see the blue-white veil with non-polarized light, then you switch to polarized light and you see white shiny lines. Therefore, it makes sense that it corresponds to the same thing that the white veil corresponds in the non-polarized light, which is epidermal hyperplasia. So it's a reasonable hypothesis in my view. Look here, another example, a classic melanoma with a very nice example of a blue-white veil. And look what happens when we switch to polarization. So the blue-white veil transforms into white shiny strands. So it's reasonable for me to hypothesize that this corresponds to an epidermal alteration and not necessarily to fibrosis. In contrast, when you have a flat lesion like this one, and of course there is no blue-white veil anyhow in the non-polarized light, then it probably corresponds to fibrosis, so to collagen remodeling or collagenations. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Just another example with a classic blue-white veil in an advanced melanoma. So here we know that we have orthokeratosis on the surface, and then we switch, and this white veil transforms into white shiny lines. So why not? Why not to accept that this is a possible correspondence? So that was the main thing I wanted to tell you. Of course, here I have several more slides, but let's skip them for the moment. Let's see what JP has to show us, and if we have more time, we can come back.
It's nice because I prepared more or less the same thing, but first of all, let's say I'm the oldest of you guys, and let me tell you, I still
by 2 years.
Still love non-polarized light much more than polarized light, you know, because look at the beautiful image produced by non-polarized light in a blue nevus. Yeah, you can diagnose a blue nevus much easier on the left than on the right side. Come on, no question. And look, also in relation to seborrheic keratosis, it's much easier to diagnose a seborrheic keratosis with non-polarized light, as you can see on the left, as compared to the right. I mean, there's no question that in my view, non-polarized light is better than polarized. The problem is that we always use, all of us use polarized light 99.9% of the time. Why? Because it's easier, because it's faster, because you don't need a gel or a liquid in the interface. So it's much faster. And therefore, polarized light changed our way of doing, and we love it. Yeah. But we have to admit that non-polarized light is better. This is, by the way, the first time in which shiny white streaks were correlated with histopathology. And this is basically what Emilio said. This is due by Maria Antonietta Pizzichetta, a paper published in 2014, by the way, 10 years ago. And she demonstrated that shiny white streaks are related either to hypergranulosis or fibrosis. Yeah, there was a strict, significant association of what we see of shiny white streaks with these two histopathologic features. So we said that basically shiny white streaks can be seen in many lesions. Yeah. First of all, the first lesion in which I liked the shiny white stuff is Spitz-Nevi, because I can understand immediately that if I use in Spitz-Nevi, of course, not in all of them, but in a certain amount of them, if I use non-polarized light, I see reticular depigmentation, while if I use polarized light, I see shiny white streaks. Okay, so in some way, negative network, reticular depigmentation, and shiny white streaks are in some way correlated. Okay, but it's a matter of
laughing because
huh?
I'm laughing because Ash was a big fan of it, and he was saying that there are three types of shiny white lines: the ones overlying blue-white veil, the one coinciding with the negative network, and the ones that are on their own.
Yeah.
And he wanted to clarify this even further. I don't know if he has done it so far, but I'm sure that he's out on the pursuit of that.
No, but definitely this is a good stuff when we see a lesion with a pink lesion with nice orthogonal white lines. We can think about a Spitz-Nevis. But we know white streaks can be seen in melanoma. They can be seen in blue nevi a lot. We can see them in BCC. We can see them in other malignancies like Merkel cell carcinoma, like the case on the right side, on the right hand side. And in my view, in the great proportion of the lesions in which we see white lines, we do diagnosis not because of the white lines, but because of the other features. Don't you think that this is a very unusual, very atypical nodular pink lesion because of the vessels, independently from the white lines, So in my view, this is, this is a lesion that should be excised anyhow, independently from the white lines. And this was amelanotic melanoma. But as I told you, as Emilio told you at the beginning, in my view, there is let's say, a scenario, a differential diagnosis in which this could be helpful. And this is the differential diagnosis between dermal nevus and amelanotic melanoma. Of course, we said there are a certain amount, very little amount of dermal nevi can still show white lines, but generally speaking, they don't show white lines, as is the case here. This is a classical papillomatous dermal nevus. So we are happy not to see white lines, while here, and this is the same case Emilio showed 1 minute ago, in which we were very unsure if this is a dermal nevus or something else, but because this lesion was biopsied only because of the presence of the white lines. Okay, so if you ask me what is the percentage of lesions of my daily life which is influenced by white lines, I would say 0.01%. But still, it's something, So in the armamentarium, we should consider them.
0.01%. So slow, so small.
No,
maybe 0.1, maybe 0.1.
Yeah.
But still less than 1%.
0.1 that you decide based on the white shiny lines. That's
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what Jeff is
you
saying.
take decisions based on this.
Yeah. There are a few questions. So, could we say that they are useless in diagnosing a malignant lesion? Well, no, we don't say that they are useless. We're just saying that keep in mind that they might also be present in benign tumors. Therefore, it's not a per se a criterion of malignancy. Another comment says that they cannot be ignored without the confidence of other convincing structures of benign lesions. Of course. Therefore, we need to excise if we are not sure. Obviously, yes. Can we say that they correspond like Wickham's striae to hypergranulosis? Well, occasionally, sometimes, yes, they could correspond to epidermal hyperplasia. By the way, let me show you just two more cases before we, because they're good examples to the questions. I will show you a scenario. Huh?
Sorry, Emilis, before you go to that, there's a question that we answered, both me and Nisa, because let me just say to the audience, Evelina commented, if we see the shiny white structures in dermal nevus, is there any reason to worry? And the thing is that usually in dermal nevi, in the absence of other features, shiny white structures are usually an indication of trauma. So because it's traumatized, there are stromal alterations, and you can see the shiny white structures. As Nisa highlighted, the worrying thing in dermal nevi is evolution in any way, and especially the fear in dermal nevi is a nevoid melanoma, and there it's the vasculature, the vessels that will guide you towards the diagnosis. So it's one of the rare cases where vessels alone play a huge role.
Yeah, absolutely. So an example in which white shiny lines are not important. That's clinically a clear-cut seborrheic keratosis. Yeah. Dermatoscopically with non-polarized light, it's the example of a beautiful seborrheic keratosis. And then you switch to polarized light and it's full of white shiny lines.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
okay.
Who cares? Yeah?
Who cares?
And obviously, again, these white shiny lines, obviously, they don't correspond to dermal fibrosis, I suppose. Obviously not. Yeah. Again, they correspond to something epidermal. Or look at this one. It's such a nice seborrheic keratosis. And then it's full of white shiny lines. So what?
Yeah.
Nothing. But nothing because we are...
No. But the point is this, Emilio, when I see something like this, because I use always first polarized light, I like to switch to non-polarized because I need to be reassured.
Yes, but the question is, what is causing these shiny white lines in seborrheic keratosis? Is it trauma? Like what forms this epidermal process? What do you think?
No idea.
It probably has to, yeah, I don't know if it's trauma or it's just something, what's going on in the hyperplasia of the layers of the epidermis, maybe something, maybe hyperplasia of one of the layers, like the granular layer could have this.
The problem is that hypergranulosis for the pathologist is not relevant when we are in the context of a melanoma or a seborrheic keratosis or whatever. So they don't care, they don't report it. And therefore we don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. Swat says that white shiny lines are more pronounced with the polarized light and yet epidermal. I thought that the polarized light shows deeper layers of the skin. Well, yes, but imagine that with non-polarized light, if you remember the cases I showed you, with non-polarized light, you see much more white color, the so-called white veil. So you see much more evident the epidermal hyperplasia, and then it becomes just a few lines when you switch to polarization. So it's not that you don't see with non-polarized, you see with non-polarized a white veil, and then this transforms into white shiny lines. SWS, so what and sorry.
What?
See the Q&A. SWS, so what and sorry. Wonderful.
Bene, ragazzi. Do we have a video? Wonderful, wonderful.
Fantastic, fantastic. What is next? Sebastiano is next, I think so.
Yeah.
Sì, 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 sì.
Sebastiano with a Ferrari t-shirt, with a Ferrari
the
t-shirt.
Ferrari. You know that Sebastiano became one of the dermatologists of the Ferrari team.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Maranello,
Really?
Maranello. Yes, yes, yes.
Wow. Send us a photo with Hamilton.
I will try.
Sebi, we need tickets. Like,
Yeah. Take us to the
who cares about the
formula.
photos? We need tickets. Come on, we love you so much.
Okay, so we have Daria Lukinina from Russia. Okay,
Lukinina.
thank you.
Okay. Two questions. Question one. What is the lesion on the back?
Mhm. A very fair skin, little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
14 years old.
What is it?
So my first impression would be solar lentigo, but there's a point of negative network at 5. So maybe it's a melanoma arising on a nevus.
No, come on, he's too young.
Ah.
It's a nevus, punto. Well,
Can you imagine what this lesion looked like 3 years ago?
3 years ago. Ah, an old
Speed.
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 Beautiful.
Hmm.
First
Oh,
of
Brava, brava. This
observation.
is a very
First
nice,
time.
very nice case.
very nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really
After
nice.
3 years.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah. But
Beautiful.
this is very
Enjoy the movement.
this is
Enjoy.
this is the expression of the schizophrenic nature of
Yes.
Spitznevus. You know, can you imagine that's he's schizophrenic because he thinks he's a melanoma. And once he realizes he's not a melanoma, either he suicide himself, so disappearing, or suddenly becoming healthy, and saying, okay, yeah, it's true. I'm not a melanoma. I'm just a Hollywood.
So these are the speech divide that take their drugs. The
Yeah,
ones that take their medication, they transform into regular nevi. The ones that don't
exactly.
take their medication, they they commit
Exactly.
suicide. That was a nice addition to our schizophrenia theory.
Yourself, you're an Evis.
Okay,
By the
okay.
So
way,
But we have a
let me
enjoy.
share.
do we have a second question?
No, enjoy the movement.
I enjoy the
Like
movement.
this.
Of course. Of course. Beautiful. Brava, brava. Very nice.
Thank you, Daria.
Very
Beautiful.
nice.
White shiny lines, by the way.
Yeah.
Look.
Well, which are
Ah,
also seen on like
there is a very long history. Yeah. Very good.
3 years. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
fantastic, fantastic.
Fantastic case. Brava.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Bravissima.
Wonderful. So
Perfetto. Penelope.
This is
Penelope, or do we have a
the
second
time.
video?
No, Penelope first.
No,
Penelope
Penelope.
first. Penelope first. Fantastic. I didn't have the time to see the cases, so that's even
That's
better.
great.
Eh?
Yes.
That's even better.
That's
Better. Of course, much better. For the smiling sweetest dear needs a Christmas tree. Okay. 80-year-old woman with, come on, nevi pigmented lesion on photo damaged background on the chest. Christmas.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
che
So beautiful.
bello. Che bello.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Clonal separator. It was beautiful.
Fantastic. Seb care. Wonderful. Globular fingerprints, indented border, seborrheic keratosis. Fort Constantinos, Trappi, 42-year-old, firm lesion, random discovery on the chest again. Quite vascular, yeah?
Quite vascular. I see some white structures. Is this
Also-
polarized? Yes, it's polarized.
Polarized.
BCC.
I would go for irritated seborrheic keratosis for some reason.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Irritated seborrheic keratosis, I would also say, but of course with a bit of pain.
Yeah. Confocal.
Yeah.
BCC, BCC, basal cell.
There's non-polarized as well.
I go with BCC.
Yeah, there are some
We are 2-2.
make globus.
2-2.
Greece against the rest of the world. Well, no. I thought that the answer was seborrheic keratosis. So seborrheic keratosis or not seborrheic keratosis?
BCC.
Polymorphous vascular pattern, kinky, coiled and linear. Complex looped and linear branched. Blue clots. My friends, it appears that we lose. Milky red background. Yeah, it's true that there are blue clots, but
there. I focused so much on the
vessels. Looked like seborrheic keratosis like vessels. Anyhow, it's a trappy.
You got it, Konstantinos. You are super.
I love it.
They did self-care
Bravo.
mimicking a BCC so that you don't feel bad, guys. It's mimicking a BCC.
No, ragazzi, nobody should feel bad during the happy hour. Come on.
Of course, nobody feels bad. Anyhow, like you, a suspected melanoma. It's concerning Penelope's gift of last week for Konstantinos. Like you, I suspected melanoma in situ, but the second reading by another random pathologist confirmed the diagnosis of nevus. In any case, it's not very serious as I removed the lesion straight away with a 5 mm margin. Great.
That's great. It's a melanoma.
Abdomen, for JP abdomen 67. Large standout, irregularly pigmented pulpal on plenty of nevi on the abdomen. Okay.
A collision.
Emilia dotted vessel. What's on there? September plus
a collision. How old is the patient? Did we see?
67.
Tiny white lines, sepcare plus melanoma.
Sepcare for sure, plus something.
Yeah.
Plus melanoma, because we said that we've never seen one, and I think that Penelope is showing
she
us.
wants to show us that it happens.
Yeah, so it's just a beautiful seborrheic keratosis. Yeah.
Only seborrheic keratosis, you say. Yeah. Irregular globular pattern, polymorphous vascular pattern, white lines. Yeah. Nivo.
Really?
0.6. At least let's keep the good thing. 0.6.
Is there anything? Is there still a collision between a seborrheic keratosis and a melanoma?
For sure, there is a seborrheic keratosis here on the left. Come on, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not possible that this is not a seborrheic keratosis.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Good catch, Penelope. Good for the patient.
And for me, unfindable. Oh, I love the unfindables. Nodular pigmented lesion of chance discovery. If it's unfindable, then it's not a seborrheic keratosis, I guess.
It looks like a seborrheic keratosis.
Yeah, because it looks like one. On the come on.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. It's
this is a seborrheic keratosis in regression.
Why not a seborrheic keratosis? Come on.
This is a seborrheic keratosis, impossible.
Yeah, we should think seriously about the BCC. Let's see.
Leading with a seborrheic keratosis or a BCC by itself. No, come on. There is a seborrheic keratosis here.
Okay.
Yeah, collision maybe.
Collision. What? BCC.
How about non-polarized?
Trichoblastoma, BCC kind of
polarized, non-polarized, polarized, non-polarized, polarized, non-polarized.
Polarized, like seborrheic keratosis.
Non-polarized
seborrheic keratosis
is a stronger indicator for seborrheic keratosis. Yeah.
Seborrheic keratosis, I would vote for.
So we all vote for seborrheic keratosis.
Yeah.
No, I vote for trichoblastoma.
Trichoblastoma. But if it's unfindable, then probably it's not a seborrheic keratosis because the reasonable thought is seborrheic keratosis. So, yeah.
Go on, go on, go
Go
on.
on. Okay, go on. Seborrheic keratosis, yes or not? Commiddle-like openings, milia-like cysts, prominent blue-gray ovoid, serpiginous branched vascular, seborrheic keratosis plus pincus.
Bingo, wow. Oh,
So,
amazing. But
Okay.
we
We
also
came
talked
close.
about collision amelios
We came
at the
close.
beginning.
Yeah, we came close.
Yeah.
We came close.
so
And for Sebastiano, warring, yes, it's warring, 57-year-old, warring, raised dark pigmented lesion on the back. Okay, Sepker,
Sepke.
yeah.
Okay. Non-polarized?
Ah, Sepke.
Seb K,
Seborrheic
yeah.
keratosis.
Seborrheic keratosis.
Sepker, come on, Penelope, please, let it be a Sepker.
Let it be SMK.
Be a Sepker. I mean, let us find only at least one. Come
A
on.
Seb K for Sebi, you know.
Bravo.
Sepker.
Yeah.
The Sepicare.
Sebi, Sergey.
The Sepike. Wonderful. The Sepike. I will
Wonderful cases.
I will
Thank you,
use
Pascal.
Sepike forever.
Sepker.
The Sepike.
Sepicare.
Thank you very much.
Sergey.
Sepker, yeah.
Sebi K. Okay. Sebi send a video for you.
Vai, video.
Clues of the day. Sebi care.
No, I don't send a video.
The video does not start.
Oh, no.
The video does not start.
Okay. Who cares?
One moment. It will start.
One moment, guys.
Today is a one moment day. Okay, let's go.
What do you do when you want to examine a lesion between the toes with the Delta 30 or the Delta 30 Pro? The Delta 30 Pro has a 30 millimeter view field, which is great to examine and keep a distance from the patient at the same time. But sometimes it can be hard to reach the lesion with it. So, simply take the contact plate off and scroll the small contact plate on. And here we go. Also available for the Delta 1.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. Are you ready for the Kahoot?
Very good. Let's go.
Are
Let's
you
go.
ready for the Kahoot?
Did you see how many participants today?
No.
Many. And such an honor, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, honestly. I don't know if we say that enough, but you spend your Sunday evenings with us, and it's a great honor. Okay, guys, do you want to play? Zepi, Nisa, you want to play to see how we'll do?
How many what? Sorry. Play what?
Kahoot, let's go.
Vai. Let's go.
Bye.
Vai.
I will join.
We will lose dramatically.
I know.
So,
Should we start?
Konstantinos, your amelios prepared the questions today.
Yeah. I did.
Really?
I did it. I was very nice. I think so.
Okay.
I think that I was very nice.
Okay, let's go.
So, should we start?
Yes.
Go.
Okay. So, you can see the screen, you can hear the sound, everything works?
Yes.
Yes.
I love it when everything works, and I don't love it when it stops working. No. Okay. There we go. So that's our first case. That was the clinical. The age is 52, not 53, 2 years old. You can see the close-up clinical, and here you can see the dermatoscopic image.
Yeah.
And here comes the first question. Do you think that this lesion is a news melanoma, a solar endigo,
No.
a B, C, C? And the answer is a nevus. 114 correct answers for a nevus.
Beautiful.
Ali being in the first case, and Maxeb K in the second, and Shiny D in the third. Fantastic.
Emilius, wait.
Opa.
Debbie, what did you put?
Melanoma.
Me too, Nisa?
Nevus. For the
Oh, you
first
put
case?
Nevus.
I put
Yeah.
melanoma too.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
so
I
only
vote for
Lisa is in
nevus.
the game.
Yeah.
Okay, next case, 55. That's the close-up clinical image. Looks like a nevus, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's dermoscopy.
Yeah.
And diagnosis. Do you think that this is a nevus, a melanoma, a solar endigo, or a BC? And we have 199 correct answers for a nevus. That was another nevus. That was, by the way, histopathologically confirmed. What happened here? Okay, Vez is in the first place, Shiny in the second, Maxepke in the third, which brings us to case number 3 for today. That's a pendiculated somehow lesion on the lower back. You can see here the close-up.
Young patient.
Yeah.
Relatively
Really?
young, like 30, 40, something like this. Yeah, somehow pendiculated, clinically looks quite red. Dermatoscopically, that's what you see.
Okay.
Ah, interesting.
Okay,
Mhm.
true or false, that's an angioma. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is an angioma. 144 correct answers. And what happened? What happened here? Maxeb K is in the first place now, followed by
Right.
Shine and CNS, which brings us to the question number 4. That's the clinical.
Okay.
That's dermoscopy.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you see shiny things? I don't
Yeah.
know. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Diagnosis. Nevus melanoma other. Other 111.
Yeah.
111 correct answers. And of course, my friends, what other is this?
Third K.
Dermatofibroma.
Dermatofibroma.
Dermatofibroma. Wonderful, fantastic. What happened here is that CNS is now first, TC second, and Gepitiamo.
Epitiamo.
Gepitiamo.
Debbie, perché ti amo?
Che confusione.
I can wonder who is he or she.
Debbie, perché ti amo?
Fantastic, fantastic. Last case, guys. The case that will judge the winner. Look carefully these 4 photographs.
Yeah.
How many
And tell
BCC are
me,
there?
and tell me exactly how many BCCs are there. 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Where is the photo?
Where is the photo?
Where is the photo?
No
I don't
photo.
know. Okay. Ara, perché ti amo? 4.
Ah,
4 basal cell carcinomas were in
Four.
that image.
Wow, but this was very difficult. Yeah.
And podium.
Audio.
Third place goes to
Cepitiamo.
Ioana.
No.
Ioana.
Bravo, Ioana.
Second place goes to 1, 2, 4. And the first place goes to Jebitiamo.
Cepitiamo.
No, to Dr. Silar.
Silar.
Bravo, Dr. Silar.
Bravo.
Bravo, bravo, bravo.
But who is
Wonderful.
Dr. Silar?
We don't know. Who is Dr.
Guys,
And who is Repetiamo? We want to see.
by the way, guys, in the audience, keep in mind that the winner of the Kahoot, we bring them on the end to thank them. So, who is Dr. Silar? Please respond in the chat.
He's shy or she's shy.
No.
Repetiamo, repetiamo.
Who is Cepitiamo?
Yes.
No. This must be secret.
Yeah, of course.
Win our hearts.
Of course, the
Repetiamo
Secret
is in the middle
lover.
of our hearts.
The participant is using the opportunity to express something that he doesn't want to express publicly. Come on. All of us are Jepitiamo, says Gabriela. All of us.
All of us are Cepitiamo. It's so funny. Wonderful.
Yet, Dr. Silar. In the meanwhile, I have to say that this was another very nice episode.
Yes, I like it very much because we went very deeply into a small topic, but still very, very interesting. Good.
It's useful in everyday life. You know,
Ragazzi, ragazzi, you know that I love you.
We
Love you more.
We love
Love
you.
perché ti amo.
Sarà perché ti amo e
E
confusione.
confusione. Ta-da.
Repetiamo.
Baci to everybody. See you next week. Next Sunday.
Ragazzi.
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Ciao.
everybody. Thank you all.
Bye.
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 Bye.